Welcome to the platform. Please don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe. Residents in a South London housing estate say concerns about safety have grown after a recent shooting in the area. Some parents report that they no longer feel comfortable allowing their children to play outdoors. Locals say this is the second gun-related incident in the neighborhood within a short period of time, increasing anxiety among families. Several residents have described feeling unsettled by the sound of gunfire so close to their homes. Police also responded to a separate report of a shooting on a street in Battersea during the early evening. Officers attended the location and investigations are ongoing. Members of the community say the incidents have raised serious worries, particularly as the area had previously been considered relatively safe. A killing in Battersea, the murder of Rico Andrews. On a quiet October evening in Battersea, South London, a 21-year-old man stepped outside his home. Minutes later, he was dead. His name was Rico Andrews. What followed would leave a family shattered, a community traumatized, and a court forced to examine how a dispute rooted in organized street crime ended in a public execution. Rico Andrews was the youngest son in a large, close-knit family. He was described as funny, warm, and full of life, someone who looked out for others and was deeply protective of his siblings. He lived with his sister in a block of flats in Battersea, next to the place where his life would end. When the call came, it was his sister who was first to reach him. She stayed with him as he lay dying. The court later heard that this moment would haunt her for the rest of her life. Rico was 21 years old. Earlier that day, Joshua Eno, then 23, had been moving through London with an associate, stealing and robbing high-value motorbikes. During the trial, Eno admitted this was how he earned his living. He also admitted something else, that he routinely carried a knife while committing these crimes. One of the bikes taken that day, a BMW, was worth tens of thousands of pounds. At some point, it disappeared. Eno believed it had been taken back, and he believed Rico Andrews was involved. As evening fell, Eno went looking for answers. He tracked Rico to a location he knew was connected to him, the block of flats where Rico lived. A doorbell camera recorded Eno's voice, raised and angry, shouting for Rico and another man to come outside. Residents inside their homes heard the confrontation unfolding. What they did not yet know was that they were about to witness a murder. When Rico stepped outside, events unfolded quickly. Witnesses would later describe seeing the two men face each other. Moments later, a gun was fired. Rico Andrews was shot. As neighbors watched from their windows, he collapsed outside his own home. The gunman fled. The weapon was never recovered. The judge would later say he was sure it was taken from the scene by the killer. As Rico's friend and members of the public rushed to help, Joshua Eno disappeared. He went into hiding. When he was eventually arrested, he did not help police understand what had happened. Instead, he constructed a defense the judge would later describe as dishonest and calculated. At trial, Eno claimed the gun had belonged to Rico and had discharged accidentally during a struggle. The jury did not believe him, nor did the judge. The case would go to court not once but twice. For Rico's family, the process was agonizing. They sat through weeks of evidence, listening as their son and brother was repeatedly portrayed in a negative light by the man who killed him. The judge later praised the family's dignity, restraint, and resilience. He said they had been forced to endure far more than any family should. At sentencing, the judge was clear. This was not an accident. It was not a moment of panic. It was a deliberate killing carried out in public in a residential area, placing many lives at risk. Eno, the judge said, showed no remorse. He had a long history of criminal convictions, including knife offences, and was already under a suspended sentence at the time of the murder. Mental health conditions raised by the defense were found to have played no role in the crime. The judge said he was sure Eno intended to kill. For murder, the law requires a life sentence. Joshua Eno was sentenced to life imprisonment. After credit for time already served, he must spend 28 years and 18 days in custody before he can even ask the parole board for release. If he is ever released, he will remain on license for the rest of his life. Additional sentences were imposed for robbery, theft, and carrying a knife offences that formed the backdrop to the killing. Rico Andrews will never come home. His family will carry their loss forever. And a dispute over stolen property driven by criminal greed and violence has ended one life and condemned another to spend decades behind bars. This was a killing in Battersea, and its consequences will last a lifetime. Thank you for tuning in to the platform. Please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe.